This little health vlog of the day is all about how much your nutrition factors into your total health. I'll say the short answer first and then I'll give you the long explanation later because there's some qualifying factors. The short answer is what you're eating matters way more than most people think. I would say the average American who's eating the standard American diet probably thinks that their diet is like 20% of their health, and I would say for the average American their diet is probably contributing more towards up to 80% of their health. So that's the short answer. There's a lot to explain. First of all, everybody's really different. So how much does my food matter to my total health? Well, you have to think about how you're metabolizing your food. So if you're super healthy, digesting and metabolizing everything perfectly, your blood sugar is working great, no insulin resistance, no food allergies, no immune irregularity, great gut microbiome, then what you're eating affects your total health less than if you're somebody who has a health problem, because then your food can start to either really help or hurt you with it. So let's say you're someone who's developing insulin resistance, which they're discovering isn't not only related to the pancreas, diabetes, type 1 and 2, but is related to Alzheimer's and early onset dementia and things like that. So your insulin's a big deal. Let's say you have the beginnings of that. Well, then your diet's going to become way more important in your total health because you can stop it early and even reverse insulin resistance by what you eat. You can watch your carbs, stop spiking your insulin, start eating healthy fats with every meal, start eating more times a day, or whatever it is that's going to help your own body regulate again and heal. I had reactive hypoglycemia, and it was in the type 1 category back when I first got off gluten and had some crazy celiac stuff still going on. And because I learned about regulating my insulin and blood sugar and not spiking it, I was actually able to reverse it, and now I don't get reactive hypoglycemia, and I have no trace of pre-type 1 because my food in that case was a huge factor, right? And my diet and my habits nutritionally were way more important in that situation than just trying to work out regularly or get enough sleep, because mine was related to an autoimmune digestive disease. So that's one example of how everyone's different, and I'm obviously on the high end of how important my diet is to my health. Some other examples are, if you have leaky gut and you're eating things that you're reacting to, you're gonna feel a lot worse than if you would take out those antigen type foods, those inflammatory foods, and that's different for everyone, but the common culprits are gluten, dairy, sometimes nightshades, sometimes eggs, sometimes soy, sometimes nuts, and there's other ones some people react to, just cilantro, and everything else is fine. So you really have to discover what it is for your body. So like I've been saying, there's this whole spectrum from being able to metabolize and digest everything really well to further along in the disease process, the person who isn't digesting and metabolizing everything well. So if you're asking how important your diet is to your overall health, you have to look at where you're at on that spectrum. For most of us, if we have any sort of health concerns, diet's gonna be a huge part of our recovery. Let's say you get migraines. You think it's just gonna be a normal part of the rest of your life because none of the medicine really works and you just get them no matter what you do. I know so many people who had migraines for years and years and then finally got on a gluten-free diet, or sometimes a little bit beyond that, like gluten-free plus alkaline diet. That has helped their body stay on the right side of the line, the threshold of migraines. So that's really good news for a lot of people, and it's something we can control, something we can change. I had someone talk to me today who was asking a similar question to this. He was saying, I work out a lot, I was a trainer, I was an athlete, I move more than the average person, and that's really good because we are all pretty movement deprived in this day and age. But he's eating somewhat bad, and he's young, he's in his 20s, he's never had any health problems, but he was asking basically, how much is it related? How much am I affecting my health by what I put in my body? And the answer is, you're very lucky so far, but you need to catch that now. You need to change some habits now because it's going to be a lot easier and you're going to have a lot more freedom in it if you do it slowly now than if you wait till you actually have a health problem from it. because then you'd have to react more extremely and it'll be harder and more complicated. My final thought on this subject today is a lot of people, when they first start trying to eat more healthy, get misinformed about what that looks like. There's so much conflicting information out there about what to eat, what not to eat, when to eat, how much to eat. Some people have you looking at your protein and your carbs and your fats. Some people have you looking at, is it plant-based? Where's it sourced from? Is it organic? Like, it's overwhelming and confusing, and everyone's body is different and responds differently. But if I had to just give an overall first pointer to the general population, someone who's trying to start eating a little healthier, it would be to eat more green stuff, to eat less baked stuff and sugar, and to look into the paleo diet, because the real paleo diet's not supposed to be about eating all steak all the time. Okay, it's not supposed to be about going completely Atkins and no carb. The real paleo diet is actually eating real food that you can pronounce. A lot of the content should be greens and varied plants, getting your carbs from things like squash, and stopping processed foods. So if you start there, I think that's a good start, and I think it's going to point most people in the right direction. Now, some people have different health things and should eat more or less animal-based products, or some people should really focus on taking out one specific food that's just giving them health. So you have to take your own story into account, and don't be super influenced by mine or anyone else's. Listen to your own body and start small. Start with what you can do. You don't have to go spend $1 million at Whole Foods. You can go to any grocery store, go to the produce aisle, get some veggies that you know you like, and start doing that every day instead of bread for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So those are my thoughts on nutrition for today. Hope you guys liked this little video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe below for more helpful health tips.